to devise programs and policies that would reverse the dangerous increases in inequality and the potential for instability from the financial liberalization begun under Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. Troublingly, faith in the power of markets had spread by the 1990s to the point where financial liberalization was being pushed by some of my own colleagues in the administration, and eventually by Clinton himself. My concern with increasing inequality grew while I served on Clinton's CEA, but since 2000 the problem has reached ever more alarming heights as inequality grew and grew and grew. Not since before the Great Depression have the country's richest citizens captured such a large proportion of the nation's income. 25 years after entering the Clinton administration, I find myself reflecting, how did we get here? Where are we going? And what can we do to change course? I approach these questions as an economist, and not surprisingly, I see at least part of the answer lying in our economic failures. The failure to handle well the transition from a manufacturing economy to a service sector economy, to tame the financial sector, to properly manage globalization and its consequences, and most importantly, to respond to the growing inequality as we seemed to be evolving into an economy and democracy of the 1%, for the 1%, and by the 1%. Both experience and studies have made it clear to me that economics and politics cannot be separated, and especially not in America's money-driven politics. So while most of this book focuses on the economics of our current situation, I would be remiss if I did not say something about our politics. Many elements of this diagnosis are by now familiar, including excessive financialization, mismanaged globalization, and increasing market power. I show how they are interrelated, how, together, they explain both why growth has been so anemic and why the fruits of what little growth we've had have been so unequally shared. This book, though, is not just about diagnosis. It is also about prescription, what we can do, the way forward. To answer such questions, I have to explain the true source of the wealth of nations, distinguishing wealth creation from wealth extraction. The latter is any process whereby one individual takes wealth from others through one form of exploitation or another. The true source of the wealth of a nation lies in the former, in the creativity and productivity of the nation's people and their productive interactions with each other. It rests on the advances in science, which teach us how we can discover the hidden truths of nature and use them to advance technology. Further, it rests on advances in understanding of social organization, discovered through reasoned discourse, leading to institutions such as those broadly referred to as the rule of law, systems of checks and balance, and due process. I present the outlines of a progressive agenda that represents the antithesis to the agenda of Trump and his supporters. It is, in a sense, a 21st century blend of Teddy Roosevelt and FDR. The central argument is that following these reforms will lead to a faster-growing economy with shared prosperity, in which the kind of life to which most Americans aspire is not a pipe dream, but an attainable reality. In short, if we truly understand the sources of the wealth of the nation, we can achieve a more dynamic economy with greater shared prosperity. This will require government to take a different, probably larger role than it does today. We cannot shy away from the need for collective action in our complex 21st century world. I show, too, that there is a set of eminently affordable policies that can make a middle-class life, the life which seemed within our grasp in the middle of the last century, but now seems increasingly to be out of reach, once again the norm rather than the exception. Reaganomics, Trumponomics, and the attack on democracy. As we reflect upon our current situation, it is natural to think back some 40 years to when the right again seemed triumphant. Then, too, it seemed a global movement. Ronald Reagan in the U.S., Margaret Thatcher in the U.K., Keynesian economics, which emphasized how government could maintain full employment through managing demand through monetary and fiscal policy, was replaced with supply-side economics, emphasizing how deregulation and tax cuts would free up the economy and incentivize it, increasing